Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are going to be reviewing what I believe is a gold McCree. I think the Torb is temporary, but we can review that too. This is a gold hit scan player. Previously in Season 4, I think they said, they were a Masters hit scan player. Obviously they've been away for a long time, and the player base is also leveled up. So let's see what things look like, and let's help them out. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. See what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have, all that. Oh, this is the one I saw at the beginning of. It's Torb until the end of going 1, and they have some embarrassing hooks, as in getting hooks in embarrassing ways. I was going to say, does Torb have a hook now? I could see that, though. I could see Torb, going, hey, Captain Hook style, like, Captain Hook, okay. I mean, yeah, he's obviously got the claw hand there, so I'm thinking, like, can we hook with that? Can we do more than melees? Is that what you mean? But hey. Okay, we're spamming that. Where did we set our turret? I wasn't paying enough attention. We set our turret there. Yeah, it's okay. So this isn't actually amazing as a turret. What this turret does for you is it just gives you more poke damage. Molten Hook, yes, there we go. So this turret just gives you more poke damage down main. And it's not like terrible to have more poke damage down main, and your turret has a little bit of cover, so I give this turret like a 3 out of 10. It could be worse. This turret could totally be worse. But you're not actually looking for more poke pressure down your main angle. You have enough of that. You're poking down this angle, Bap is poking down this angle, Sigma's poking down this angle, Orissa's poking down this angle. You're all covering the same stuff. So what we actually want this turret to do is we actually want it to poke from a different angle. So if someone walks through with like a Rhine Shield or Defense Matrix and they angle it in this direction, it doesn't block everyone's damage. Now, Hanzo's thinking about being over here, so good on Hanzo, but your turret is great for that. Your turret can be sort of like an alarm system for if people go the other way, which is helpful, and or your turret can be, hey, crossfire from a different direction. Like a turret over here is, hey, you walk in, you start getting shot in the side as you advance on us. That's not so fun. Or you can set something up like, hey, the turret is here, and they are in a situation where they walk in, and they have to turn and deal with the turret, or they have to put their shield up while someone else comes and deals with the turrets. And the turret is just shooting Ryan or someone else in the back until they deal with it, type thing. Or you can set the turret here, where it's at least giving you a crossfire, where they come in and they get shot by the turret. Turret placements generally want to be things that they can't deal with until they're already in some other portion of your group's line of sight. So they would be in the fire from your group, from you guys, even if you backed up a little. They'd be in your line of sight if they tried to come up here before they're able to shoot at and deal with the turret. Or, same thing if we set the turret somewhere over here-ish, where by the time they're in a place to deal with the turret and can turn and pay attention to break the turret, they're in line of sight for your team to shoot at them. That's actually what we want pretty badly. Like I said, you can also get auxiliary or alternate effect of your turret of being like an alarm system of if someone's going down a flank, you could set a turret like here, for example, and if your turret gets destroyed, or you could even set a turret back here, not as good, and if it gets destroyed, that's a warning of, oh, something is coming, there's about to be a tracer or something like that, and I know that's there, it's not going to get the jump on me. But I'm not a huge fan of this turret. I'd prefer something over here, something over here, something over here. I don't just want this. This is like, if you just wanted more damage down main, well, why aren't you Bastion? Okay. Torb's personal burglar alarm? Yeah. His personal burglar alarm that the entire neighborhood, team, benefits from him having. Just like real life. I'm overloading. Is that going to be the new line crunch that I'm going to see in Why Aren't You Bastion? I've said it, and now it's going to get quoted all the time. That's fair. That's fair. What? What? This is happening. No problem. Your Hanzo is trying his heart out to keep you guys in this fight. You might think the rest of you are doing something, but it's your Hanzo that's making this push hard. Now see, they turn to go after your Hanzo, and this is when you get some good work done. You get some good work done. Hopefully Hanzo gets out. Hanzo does not get out. That's unfortunate. So now you guys are going to be in trouble. We're poking. The stat website I use says Torb has a good win rate on a wide variety of maps. What's his play rate look like? Because that actually matters. Because what happens is as people start to lose or don't do well with something, they stop playing the hero because they're not willing to lose their SR. This isn't a 100% thing, but this tends to happen. So what happens is only the absolute specialists stay on him. Only the people who can maintain good win rates stay on him to a degree. So he's still not amazing. He's fine. He's actually not a bad hero. Like, he's not like he was at game release where it was like, what are you doing? He's a fine hero, but he's not amazing. He's good. Part of what makes him good is, yes, he does play well against teams with Tracer. And hey, if you know how to use this turret, you can get some value. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. As Crunch says, low pick rate heroes look dominant because only the one tricks play them. Yeah. We can work with this. My rewind was longer than we wanted. That's why we're taking so long to get back to the moment I want. That's a window. That's a window. Okay. So we do double damage. Cool, cool. Don't need to. They answered with a coalescence. I'm happy to shoot them a little through the window, but I'm not happy to just get myself hit by a coalescence. Why would I walk forward here? Why would I walk forward? Don't you dare. Don't you dare pass that choke. Good. But then you're purple and the lamp. Okay, so you're done. Fine. Fine. I'll live. And this is the power of Crossfire. Jeansy got you over there with the Bunny Blaster. Because no one was controlling this. Hanzo was originally controlling this, but Hanzo got eliminated and came back. No one was controlling this, so they came through here, and it's like, look, it's the Coalescence and the Nano Hog, and it's scary. Pink! And you're eliminated. Off angles are really powerful. We gotta make sure those are controlled. Your turret can help with that. Yes, your turret would have been destroyed by now, but that would have given you, oh hey, I need to potentially pay a little more attention to this. Maybe I need to go take my turret spot and I need to off angle on them type thing. Even if we've got a window shooting from here, I can off angle from here. Oh, is it that bad, Crunch? Ouch. Okay, we're on to crit. So for those of you that weren't here in the beginning, this was, I'm told this was a Masters player on Hitscan and Anna, so another Hitscan in some ways, in Season 4, but they haven't played at all since Season 10, so gold is where we're at right now. Ouch! It's fine, they're not paying attention to you. Your team is somewhat relevant. You're going to go for shots here. You just need to dodge this. Like, your timing isn't bad or anything. You just need to dodge this. You can actively see this. You can see the hog look up. You can see the hog throw his hook. It's a max distance hook, which gives you a little more reaction time available to you. Step or roll out of this. Plenty of time. And if you were Masters in Season 4, you know that, hog dominance, hooks everywhere, that's just the thing, You have to be like 3/4 behind cover or more, or the hog's going to get you. I remember that time frame. Hog was a beast. It's why the original triple tank used a lot of hog. Nobody ever thinks that goes that long. Crosshair placement? Are we not turning? Okay. Okay. This is dumb. No hook for Hog. You just saw it used. There's Hog. You can shoot at him. You can. Tracer's over there, so if you find a chance to flick to Tracer, that'd be great. Okay, you're gonna reload. I do not need you to stay on Hog. Go to Anna. Why are you on Hog? Why are you on Hog? See, this is silly. I can live with you being on the Hog because Hog was the first one to show up and it was a big flick to get over to Tracer. I can live with that, but now you're still staying on Hog after you reloaded, after the breather, after there's an Anna on your screen, after you've had to take time to reload, which would have given you just as much ability to acquire this as your target rather than continuing on the Hog. Like, this is either I want to shoot at Hog because he's big and easy to shoot at, which is wrong, or Hog got me, so now I got to ego fight him and I got to eliminate him, which is also wrong. You put way more pressure on this team by putting 2 shots into Anna, by putting a shot into Tracer, than you do by putting even 3 shots into Hog. Like, let's see if we can get pressure on these guys, maybe get them eliminated. If Hog looks at you to hook again, that's fine. You're going to dodge it this time. You're gonna take the step back. You have plenty of reaction time if Hog actually tries to come after you. But you don't need to, like, eliminate him to make up for him eliminating you. Leave. Leave. Okay, you may not know. This is Sigma. He's your off tank. He's your off tank. And his ult, it's a powerful ult. It lifts people up, takes away half their life, slams them into the ground, does 50 damage, and sometimes he'll throw stuff at them. But these guys can use their abilities and such while they're lifted into the air. So you had to know immediately when this flux came that, oh shoot, if I can't immediately eliminate this Hog, and I mean immediately, I need to get cover because his new spot is about to be up in the air where my high ground cover isn't good enough anymore. So I'm going to have to get myself back here. Had to think about that. Fortunately, you're going to get him in time with the Sigma's help. No, you wouldn't have gotten him in time. That Sigma is all that's helping you here. You'd have been hooked and shot. Yeah, okay. Great. Turn. Okay. Temporal reverse just before McCree's death. Yeah, temporal will definitely touch this. Yeah, well, It's a little early, but I can live with it. So here you are. Again, I see that Hog, but I see that Anna over there that you could shoot at instead. I see an Anna that you could shoot at. I see a soldier that you could shoot at. Both of those, it's greater pressure on the team to put damage into them. Hog has 600 health. Anna has 200 health and struggles to self-heal. She has a very easy time healing Hog, and she struggles to self-heal. She has to invest a big ability to heal herself. It's way more pressure. As a percentage of her life, a shot does a lot more, and you're potentially going to get a big cooldown out of her by shooting her. Definitely shoot at the Anna. Second choice right now would be the soldier. Last choice would be the Hog. I'd actually be more interested in shooting at the D.Va than the Hog, to be perfectly honest. You could sell me on the Hog because the Hog's the easier headshot, so it's more damage right now. The D.Va's crit box is just barely visible, but you're way too interested in this Hog. Didn't need to reload if my plan was to high noon here. High noon reloads for you. But these guys aren't really in yet. So I do like that you're synchronizing around the Halt. That's good. That is good, and I don't want to discount that. But these guys aren't really in enough yet. Like, yes, the Halt is going to make retreating hard for them, but in general, retreating isn't very hard for them yet. You wanted them to be a little more here, a little more in the box, as we'll say, a little more in How do I want to do this? A little more in like this territory. That's even too far. A little more in like this territory, this box here, where hey, they've pushed in and it's actually harder for them to retreat. They've got to go like all the way out there. They've got to go like all the way back in there. They've got to go like all the way back there. You sort of want that, where it's the, oh, this is tough for you guys because now it's further to get back to cover. You're getting peppered from this side by my team, and you're getting peppered from up here. If they're back here where they are, these arrows converge, and they're really just getting peppered from this direction as a whole. If you wait until they're in a little bit closer, now, if they can use like the cart as high noon cover against you, maybe, not really, it doesn't work against your team that's shooting from this direction because you're shooting from this direction. You see how that works? Like, it's actually important. You wanted them to come in a little bit more to get more value out of your high noon, because your high noon, if you can't get something immediately off this halt, and you won't be able to because they have defense matrix, you're not going to get anything because they just go to cover. Yep. So congrats, your high noon got you time off the clock. That's not really good enough. You had to recognize where that's going. You just have to recognize where that's going and decide, well, I guess I'm jumping. It's not great, but like, you weren't getting out this way. That wasn't happening. Or you could check on your Orisa to see if she was going to deploy a new barrier, but hey. Okay, you're shooting at the hog again. You're way too interested in that.
I need a doctor.
Take cover. I am ready to activate the sound barrier.
Let the dragon hunt.
If your team's going left, go right. Hold on, you know your team's going this way. You had time to waste. You were just waiting for your things to happen. Go this way. If you have time to invest while you're not actually shooting at things as McCree, you want to think about investing that time and taking an off angle, because then you'll be shooting from here while your team's shooting from here. And this is like when you were on high ground and your team was defending main ramp. If you shoot from here, they shoot from here. If you shoot in from here, they shoot in from here. Like, that's really powerful. And if you're worried about someone pushing you from the other team, well, you can retreat into your mega or even into castle itself. And as they're pushing you, your team gets to shoot them in the back. And if they push at your team can kite back and you get to shoot them in the back. It's great. It's great. Like, horseshoe defenses are actually pretty powerful. More powerful than you being stacked here with your team. Turned faster for the tracer, but okay. So, I'll cover it. Hog's dealt with, so you're going forward to look for opponents. Fine. I hear a tracer behind you. I don't want to go find more things. I don't want to bite off more things to chew on. I don't want to find more opponents to shoot at. I want to deal with the opponent that's inside my team. The opponent that's inside my team, behind my team, on an extreme angle to my team, that's who I want to deal with more than I want to push forward and get more. Because if I push forward and get more, that actually gives Tracer an angle on me. That gives Tracer like a 180-degree angle on me versus my team. So I want to deal with the Tracer, who's on like a 90-degree angle to me versus the rest of her team, as opposed to going here and giving her a 180-degree angle on me. That would make her even stronger. That sounds painful. Now, yes, it would also mean that she's in the middle of your team, which maybe isn't comfortable, but that doesn't really help you if you're in effect in the middle of her team if you turn to deal with her. So we like to deal with the threats who are most aggressive, most in our team on the sharpest angles before we go forward to get more. General rule. And then you're here and you have no cooldown, so you get eliminated. Yeah. And that might feel like oh, but what could I have done? I got eliminated. Well, you got eliminated. If this Nano Diva had pushed you when you still had your flashbang, you'd have had a chance. But you didn't have or I guess it was the Nano Tracer that was there, not the Diva. But the reason you didn't have your flashbang to try to keep the Diva honest, make her think about, do I need to DM this, was you used your flashbang on the Nano Tracer, which is totally fine, except that you were pushed up and you should have already forced the Tracer out before that happened. And then if you were still in that same positioning after you'd forced the Tracer out, but still had your flashbang, you wouldn't have done it. If you didn't have your flashbang, well, you would have taken more passive positioning.
Captain Amari, reporting.
Barrier is unstable.
So you're stacked on your team again? I don't like this. You're stacked on your team. You also have nothing resembling cover. I guess you've sort of given yourself something that maybe we'll call high ground with like, aha, I'm dancing on old Reinhardt's chest. Like, aha, yes, yes, I have the throne. Maybe we call that high ground. But you know what would be even better? Ah, I have an angle. I have an angle. It would. I know it might not seem like much, but even just a little bit like this right here, you've got cover, you've got something resembling an angle. You can potentially go back here for a health pack. This is better. You have cover, cover, no cover, no good. We don't like this. He's the king of the high ground. Yeah. You can push Tracer. It's fine. What are you doing? No, no, no. I quite liked you here. And if you don't want to be here, I can live with you here. But I quite liked you here, where you had something resembling cover. Yeah, fall off range is a bit if they're right at the choke there, but they're going to come in. It's okay. Ah, well. We'll do.
Barrier is unstable.
Strictly worse. Strictly... Am I going to watch you spend the next 4 minutes exclusively or almost exclusively shooting at Hog because you got hooked again? Okay, the reason you're getting hooked is A, you're not respecting him enough, but B, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I could have lived with this. You have cover you can dance on. It's an aggressive position, but I could have lived with it. This is what I wanted. Fall off becomes an issue, but you've got your cover. If they push into your team, you can shoot them in the side. They can't really push into you. If they try, your team shoots them in the back. You can retreat into the mini. Yes, you have to worry about, hey, I'm shooting here. Tracer's coming down here, but you'll see Tracer go in here, and then Tracer will have to force on you when you're aware of her. Like, this is a fine spot for you. Again, fall off isn't great, but this would have been fine. It would have been much better than being in the front line where you get hooked. If old Reinhardt counts as high ground, then Penn Lily definitely counts as high ground. I mean, it is limited high ground. It's not very high ground, and it's not very good high ground. Neither was Reinhardt's throne there, but...
Well,
Is the high ground behind him valid at all? Do you mean this high ground? This is valid high ground. Do you mean this high ground? This is valid high ground. Even this high ground is valid, but it's not very good for Cree because A, Cree can't really get here without a sim TP or some funny stuff like surfing diva explosions, May walls, etc. But C, it's only useful once the cart's got into here. Mostly you'd be interested in this high ground, which you can access, or this high ground. He absolutely, instead of being here, could have gone up here, but I didn't actually expect him to take the time to go get this while a supercharger was going. I didn't think that was going to happen, so I didn't get into it. Why do they continue to push the battering ram to the throne when the door's already down? Just walk to the throne, and in canon, you have surely won. Um, so that's not strictly true. Well, if you walk to the throne with, like, I don't know, did you pay off the castle guard? Because if you haven't bought off the castle guard, showing up in the throne room isn't necessarily a win. If you can occupy the throne, like if you can actually occupy it, sure. But it looks to me like the castle guard is still here. And this is a roughly even 6v6 castle guard versus invaders thing. So I don't know that the invaders have won just because they've breached the castle doors itself. You can still repel this. You know, have the old kingdom stories of, like, you can have someone break down the castle door, and then you still have to, like, go up the stairs, for example, and the stairwells that were designed in such a way, like, the door's been knocked down, but you still have to take the castle itself. You still have to go up the stairs that loop in such a way that right-handed people, defenders, have the advantage. Right-handed people climbing the stairs can't really use their swords because the walls are in the way in the staircase. And then you have the situations where, like, there's still lots to breaking a castle. Maybe not this one, but breaking a castle if it was designed with that in mind. Though, yeah, you're probably in bad shape. I mean, if you had the numbers to match them, you probably matched them and didn't let them break this. It is a bad sign that you lost your castle door. I agree, but no, I don't think you. Maybe you don't need to drag your battering ram up here, but it's a good show of force. Plus, this battering ram has, like, a rocket engine. Maybe you need it to, like, destroy the throne itself as a show of force, as a symbol. Huh, I don't know. Maybe that's the plan. To batter old Reinhardt. Yeah, Crunch has it. Why do they even need to batter the door down? Then worse, open doors to the side anyway. So many plot holes. Well, because the army is behind them. These are like the special agents that showed up here, and the army is gonna show up. No, I'm making this up, obviously, but the army is gonna show up, and we don't want the army to have to file 1 to 2 people through these doors at a time. We want them to just be able to climb in, right? No, I got nothing. I got nothing. No temporal as soon as you sit on the throne you win. I don't know about that. It's in the new patch. Okay. So this guy's playing ahead of the meta. Okay. So here you are. You go for the high noon. Truth be told, this isn't actually this isn't okay high noon. What makes this high noon okay is that they have nowhere to go, and you caught them unawares, and you see that a lot of them have nowhere to go in time. What makes this a less good high noon is your high noon is the only thing threatening them. They are not threatened by the rest of your team right now, and your team has beat going right now. And that might seem like that makes it a good time to do high noon temporal. Well, sort of, but the thing is, beat sort of makes them retreat, and high noon sort of makes them retreat. You could wipe them out with beat, or you could wipe them out with high noon. I don't really need to stack them. Like, if we beat it and they beat it, we might be interested in stacking a high noon or something. I don't actually love the going high noon and going and high nooning because we have beat, though. Like, yes, it makes your high noon more likely to work, but beat is very powerful on its own. I'll live, though. There's certainly a place for high noon beat. McCree is trying to tell his players to take high ground with his high noon. Okay. Do we really have to shoot down the same sight line as our tanks? Can we please angle over here and be like, oh, look, there's an Anna we can shoot at? Like, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. Even just a little bit of a different angle. We're just standing in the open. Standing in the open. Oh. Nope, back to the open. This is not trustworthy cover. He can call this back to him in an instant. It's only got 700 health. He regularly does call it back. This is not reliable cover. This is reliable cover. This and this are reliable cover. This is reliable cover. The Sigma barrier is not. No. There's nowhere for you to go. You've set yourself up so there's nowhere for you to go. Your cover is all 2 seconds away. You're just counting on them not being able to hit you for 2 seconds for you to get to cover. I need portable, reliable cover. Don't we all, blah? Don't we all? McCree is trying to sell his play. Okay. I think the canon objective is you claim the armor and sell it on eBay or whatever. Reinhardt Marketplace. They'll use Rhinex shipping, where they hire Pin Happy Gold and Blow Rhines to deliver your package as fast as possible. Note: product not guaranteed to arrive intact. Sounds reasonable. That's why Ryan should always hold right click. Blah blah. Oh no.
Ready for battle. Attackers incoming in 30 seconds. Just McCree. Reward.
They need to let Ryan hold M2 when he shifts.
Hey, come on.
I know it's portable cover crunch, but no. Wouldn't last very long if it was the size of Sim's wall at its current health total.
Defend objective
Maybe Sim wall that does Torb lava damage as it passes over you, flying towards your team. Yeah. Okay, so you're just going to try to push mid. You're just going to try to pump damage into them and hope that eventually you win. And you're going to get annoyed and surprised when Hog hits hooks and eliminates people faster than you're able to eliminate people with you just applying damage pressure. And eventually Hog will mess up and miss a hook, and you guys will push through and you'll win. That's one plan, but it sucks. The better plan is, oh, look at this over here. I can play on this. Health pack available, cover available, angle that's different from my team. Hog looks at me, and I take cover. And I count 1, 2. Then I repeat, and I shoot again. And Hog won't still be looking at me, because if he is, my team is doing too much work. My Sigma's applying too much pressure. My Ana, my Orisa are applying too much pressure. And if he is, maybe he'll hook me and I'll get eliminated. But really, I'll probably see it immediately and recover. And it'll probably break the hook that comes for me. And I'll just apply pressure like this. And that'll cause these guys to have to back up to where I can't see them. If I apply pressure from here, where I can't see them means behind this line. And if they back up to behind this line, it's going to be way easier for my team to push in. And if they back up to behind this line, I also might be willing to get a little more aggressive and play like this, which now causes them another conundrum. Do we push up onto the Kree? Well, we're going to get shot on the side if we do that. Do we push up on team? Well, we're going to get shot on the side if we do that. Do we continue to hold here? Well, that kind of sucks. Do we hold here like this and just shoot at the McCree? Okay, well, we can do that, but then his team gets to approach for free, and he's just going to close the angle. That's how this video game works. That is how this video game works. So stop trying to be like a damage cannon in the middle of your team when there are these short flanks that are fast to take available to you that open up so much more for your team. And give you cover options, which mean you don't get hooked. Okay, so Stefan asks, hey, Temporal, off topic, but you reviewed a low silver match of me on Anna Brigg 3 months ago. I almost immediately got back to gold, and now after a few weeks just hit plat on Saturday. Thanks for the vid and all the reviews you do. Excellent! I'm thrilled to hear that. Very nicely done. Good job with your climb there. Very cool. So we've taken the angle, which I like, and we see stuff. So we don't need to walk onto things because we're not going to do a very good job of one-shotting Hog. We just apply pressure with headshots from here, from right here. No, we don't go forward. We don't go forward. We haven't earned this yet. If there was like an Ana standing right here, sure, we might walk up, flash, and fan and eliminate them. We wouldn't walk up opening with our fan, though, because now we've given away that we're here, and he's not eliminated. And rolling, flash, and fanning him again isn't going to eliminate him either, because we kind of did a sort of far away fan. He's still going to be healthy enough. So, and we don't have our roll to get out. So, or we won't have our roll to get out after we try to make the play. So just don't do this. Like, you needed to either sneakily get up and do this to someone, not Hog, or you needed to play from back here and do this in the more conservative manner, which would have been the better option right now.
Hold up now.
No. That's not reliable. Okay, this is better. Fan at that range doesn't really make sense. Good, and now we're... See? Angles are great. Look what happens when you take angles. Celebrate anything you can. There you go. That's a nice approach. Now you need another temporal coaching to get to high plat and then another to get to low diamond. Okay. I like it, Blah. I like it. Good plan. It's definitely what they should do. At this pace, you'll be an owl in 100 days. It's harder to maintain the pace as you go higher and higher, but yeah. I like Blast Theory.
How to make the payload move once again.
Okay, I'll live. Fortunately, your Sigma's taking angles. Good. No, don't push in front. Don't push in front. You cannot drop off of that payload fast enough to stop yourself from getting hooked. Don't do that. I'd have preferred you take high ground, but okay. Go take high ground. You have downtime. You can be like, hey, I'm going to clear the soldier. You can be like, hey, I'm going to go take high ground. But you have downtime right now. And the better use than just plinking away at their Sigma. Plinking away at their Sigma isn't a terrible use, but would be to take high ground. Plinking away at Sigma with fan at this range is a pretty terrible use. That is, no. This is fine. That is not fine. That is not fine. Look at, even though you tried to contain it, look at your bullet spread. We're not fanning at this range. We're not doing it. Not a thing. James, what makes you think I want anyone's firstborn child? Come on now. Nice crunch. Nice. Him and the Blizzard Forms Reinhardt would get right along then. They could form a team. Except they won't, because this guy, if he made it to Masters in the past, likely understands how to self-improve. So, they won't team up. They wouldn't be good for each other. Okay, so anytime that you're just like, oh, downtime, I'm waiting, you should like trigger a flag in your mind of, should I be investing this time that I'm not using in a productive way? Because waiting is, it's productive in the sense of it's better than going in one or two at a time. But should I be using this waiting time in a more productive way? And the more productive way to use waiting time as McCree is to set yourself up for off angles. Off angles are very powerful. They're not always worth taking because some off angles take a long time to take and you give up a lot of potential damage, uptime, whatever by taking them. That said, you have downtime right now. Two of your people are in spawn. So if you can push up and take an off angle and not get yourself into trouble by doing so, that would be pretty good. And you know their Hog is on main. And Hog is the scariest person on the team to run into while trying to take an off angle. And if you know where their Hog is, you can pretty safely go, I'm going to go take an off angle. Or I'm going to go take an off angle. I'm going to go take an off angle. Whatever you want to do here. Just don't actually then open your off angle until your team is ready to push.
Group up with me.
They won't team up because Shubago might have a private profile.
Engaging the enemy.
Yeah, that's probably right, Grudge. But even so, players that go that high usually understand some pieces of self-improvement. Not necessarily. You can get to those ranks, especially in the early days, with you just have good aim. You just learn the abilities and have good aim. You just have a couple skills that you're really relying on. It's much harder now, but it's a sign that I would expect that there's some ability to self-improve there, that they weren't just playing the game. Pushing main. Did Hanzo go down? The rock. Okay, nice.
No payment required. This one's on the house.
What? What? No. We are not pushing into this. We can stand here if we want and be like, hey, I've got this, I've got cover. My team can see me, so they can do things like pour heals into me. They can throw things to support me. That's cool. I'm not going in here where my backline can't see me. I'm not doing that into a team that I haven't tracked the spawns. I haven't tracked the elimination and respawn rates closely enough to know that there's just one person. If you tracked this super closely and you knew there was only one person here, so be it. But that's not the case. And if you didn't track it, you just assume there's more than one person in here. So you don't push here or push into here. You just go, hey, I'm going to chill here. It's cool. If you push me, I just go like that. If you push me, I go like that and flashbang even. Or if you push me, I go like this, and now you have to pick. Are you going to shoot at me or my teammates? If you push me, my teammates shoot you in the back. I do not go in here where my backline can't see or help me. That's not a thing.
Now, hold on.
Prepare to get Doomfisted. Oh, the Doomfist got caught by that flash? No way. I guess that's not a no way.
No.
Okay. I could go for some Junkenstein. Let's get some Junkenstein. Yeah, okay. I guess it's not Halloween. Ashe main. Okay, here you are. I can live with this. You don't have any great angles to take. You'd have to invest a fair amount of time to take this angle, so I'm actually okay with what you're doing. It's not bothering me. We're good. I don't like quite how aggressive you are. Nah, that's not fair. You just needed to try to roll dodge this. Like, you just need to try to roll dodge some hooks. Sometimes they're gonna get you, sometimes they're not. That's life. When you try to roll dodge, I'm saying. You could have used your tanks as better body blocks for that. You could have waited for the fresh Orisa shield. Like, if I do want to get micro, it's not like, oh, well, nothing you could have done about that hook. There's definitely things you could have done. I'm just not too worried about it. Like, I look at this and go, oh, look, there's an Orisa shield here. So you should sort of be thinking, I want to play while the Orisa shield is relevant. Now, yes, we need a more forward Orisa shield, but we can't actually wait for that more forward Orisa shield. When we're playing with an Orisa like this, our push windows, our aggressive windows are kind of tied to that Orisa shield. Now, I'm not being super strict on that, even though this team has gone pretty heavy on its poke between Bastion, Sigma, and Hog, but that's okay. That's okay. If you'd wanted to live this, you'd have been like, oh, I guess I'll just keep playing from back here until my Orisa's ready to deploy a new shield. Or you'd have said, hey, I still would like my tanks to be in front of me, because my Orisa's not in front of me, and that's not really a good sign. If I'm in front of my Orisa, I want it to be because I'm on a different angle than my team. Halloween in July can happen for sure. Works for me. I mean, we didn't get a Halloween last year because of the things that you know, took over the world. But hey. McCree seems like a pretty lackluster pick with Orisa now that the damage fall-off is so severe. I see where you're coming from. I don't fully agree, and part of why I don't fully agree is Orisa comps like a little more defense against dive comps, because Orisa comps are poke comps, and poke comps tend to fold to dive comps, and McCree does a pretty good job of doing poke while making dive not terribly happy. Now, his range is worse now, sure, but doing poke while making dive not terribly happy has some appeal. Now, it could be that you're going to go, nah, we don't want him. Brig is enough anti-dive by herself, and we want to go full poke for the rest of it. You could do that, but you could also make other compromises and say, we don't want to bring Brig because Brig doesn't actually help our poke at all. She just makes us resistant to dive, so we're going to go, we want McCree Bap Zen. And then our Bap and our McCree, we're hoping they give us enough. Like, where do you want to make your compromise to make yourself not just get run over by dive?
Long.
It's gonna make you feel better.
Yeah, but you're not always just going to run one. Like, Ashe Cree can be a thing, and who are you going to pair with Ashe? Like, if you go, hey, we want to run a real poke comp, you can go Ashe Widow, Ashe Hanzo, Ashe Cree, Hanzo Widow. Like, how do you want to do it? Scary. Okay. We still don't need to push in front. Okay. Still don't really need to be this in front, tip of the spear stuff. Like, I like that you're thinking about the little bit of high ground here. I hope you get yourself in this door frame where you have something you can use as cover. I'd also like to let your tanks be just a little bit more ahead of you. There you go. There you go. What? What were you trying to defend? The shield? Yuck. Like, there's an ulting Sigma up here who can't move his shield, and there's an ulting tank up here, and your target selection is the barrier. Well, that sucks. Excuse me, this Sigma's not ulting, he's getting ulted, but, you know, close enough. He's in the air. Taking the angle on the other side of the cart. Fine. Yes, McCree would be good against Iverson and Orisa comp.
Score 3-3.
So Hog can just eat a tire at full HP. I never seen that done. Tire does 600, Hog has 600. So Hog would have to, and Hog does not have armor, so Hog would have to take a breather to eat a tire unless he was in a fall off range of the tire and he didn't take full damage from it. But if he's using breather, he can absolutely take a tire. He's just fine. D.Va takes tires at full health because armor reduces the damage, so she would technically survive with like 5 HP left. And she can sometimes jump at tires even when she doesn't have full HP because the Junkrat player doesn't know if she has full HP or not, and that causes the Junkrat player to go, well, I don't want to blow my tire up on you, because they don't want to do it and not get the D.Va mech. That would be terrible. Yes, right. If he has any overhealth at all from like a beat or anything, or if he's got any fall, or if the tire's not in his maximum fall, if that is true.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
So World 1 will use do a VOD review of a Total Mayhem match. I almost did a review of an arcade match a couple days ago. Was a little light on things to pick from, and I saw there was an arcade mode, but it wasn't a very interesting match. I watched like 2 minutes of it and went, nah, this isn't going to be the arcade thing we review. Yes, Hammond has 600 HP and armor, so yeah. Go threaten Hog again. Like, you had the right idea. You do want to battle for dominance of this spot here. I know, I've spent most of the thing telling you to stop focusing on Hog so hard, but if Hog is taking the right spots, yes, you might need to fight for them. No, not like that. You can push him because you know he doesn't have hook. Now you go back to your cover. You don't need to go all the way out. Whatever. Push left. Good. Deal with them. You'll be fine. Okay. It's fine. You decided you don't need the high noon angle. You were up plenty. I can okay looking for staggers, but have a feel before you leave cover of how much is there.
I have taken the field.
Wait, the one who was like, "Hi, I'm new," and then submitted a Total Mayhem Reaper game, and I just don't understand. I don't understand the context there. Sorry, Crunch. Okay. You know there's a Junkrat up there. You see the nades coming down. You see this happen. Okay, works for me. I don't actually want to back up from this Junkrat, because if I back up from this Junkrat, it's like he's playing bowling with bumpers enabled. Like, I don't want to stand in the bowling lane with bumpers enabled against Junkrat. Let's not do that. Let's push into here. I know it's weird to say let's go inside when a Junkrat's coming after us, but let's go inside. This makes him go, do I drop and follow you and fight you? Well, that's a better fight for you than trying to play in the bowling lane. or he just ignores you and goes back to his spot, and eventually you'll come up here. And yeah, this could be a problem for you, but you might just peek over here instead and see, hey, is there anyone I can shoot at? Is there a respawn I can deal with? Do I want to work my way up here and go deal with him? He's going to have to think about you. No. Oh, when I mentioned that, I don't think it was the Reaper. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Oh, yeah, I think it was. I think you're right.
More than that.
Yeah, you're right. To be fair, Dave, you're upset that the hamster can survive the tire, but the 7-4 German in full armor can't. The hamster is wearing a lot more armor, if you think about it, than the 7-4 German giant there. Like, let's be honest. The hamster isn't that big that makes up Hammond. He has this ball. That's what we call him, wrecking ball, and that's a ton of machinery and armor, etc. Now he might only get like 100 armor, technically speaking, but that conceptually is a lot of armor. Whereas Reinhardt might get more armor than that, but like it's no. As a percentage of their body mass, the hamster has way more armor.
Score 4-3. Switching sides. Initiating match.
Yeah, agreed, Crunch. Okay, explain Roadhog 600 HP versus Ryan's 500 HP. Wolverine powers? I don't know. I got nothing.
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself.
Our courageous cowboy. The years haven't changed you much, have they, Jesse?
No, they certainly haven't changed my feelings about working with you.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. This. Defend objective A.
Okay. If
Let's
Hanzo's
get
holding
moving.
main, and Orissa's holding main, and Sigma's holding main, you gotta. You just gotta. You could be here if you wanted, but really you gotta be occupying something in this space. You can't be like, I am going to fire from the same direction as my Orisa and Sigma and Hanzo. Nope. It hurts your team too much. I hope you're not doing too much coaching while playing, Marius. I hope this is like after the fact. It's challenging to coach people while playing with them. It's not that it's challenging. Like, I don't know if you're duo queuing and quick play or what, but like there isn't time for them to receive and process the information. It's not an amazing environment. It's why you don't see me doing a ton of live coaching, as it sometimes gets called, where, you know, the person is playing the game in like quick play or something, or playing on stream, and you're trying to coach them on the fly as they're doing it, because Overwatch involves too many decisions per second. And if you're like trying to coach, you're probably telling them about the last thing they did, and they really do need to think about the next thing that they're going to do. And if they don't think about the next thing that they're going to do, they're going to end up in a situation where they get frustrated because as you're coaching them, they're getting rolled, they're losing hard, etc. And then they're not going to, it's not that they're not going to want the coaching, it's that they're going to accidentally have bad feelings towards the advice that you gave them, because that's unfortunately how the human brain works. It associates things together like that, and it's going to be the situation where they don't really want to implement this. Not intentionally, it's not at that conscious level. So I don't recommend that. And if you're trying to coach them about what's going to happen next, you sort of have to explain it well enough, and that's challenging. And if they understand it, like, that's a little more doable, and that's a little more how you really do it if you're trying. But you've got to go really fast, and they've got to be able to keep up with you explaining what's going to happen next. And they also have to not be hard locked into it when you expect it to go this way, but the opponents, because they're in bronze, in the case that you're describing, do something weird like this. They can't be too locked into what you said. So that's, yeah, be careful. I hope you're coaching after the fact on most of this stuff. It's your close in real life mate. Nice, nice. Yeah, you're right. You seen Stylosa Mercy VOD from a few days back? She told the soldier to go to the front line and put the healing station down for the tanks. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. 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 Okay, there we go. Back to our McCree here. Back to the shoemaker. See how easily they just ran your team over here? Like, you started here. Yeah, they got the Orisa elimination. That happens. But sure enough, they're going to push this way, and unlocking the point is going to be easy. And this would have been so much harder for them if you'd had teammates here, and you would post it up here. This would have been so much harder. Now you're having to defend in both directions at once. Your cover isn't effective against both directions at once. Yeah.
Seconds remaining.
Okay, you're setting up for high ground, but you're gonna have to hold for 45 seconds.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
And it's over there. Okay, very winnable. Fine. No, you don't need to leave. There's no reason you had to leave.
30 seconds remaining.
Keep locked down and we win.
It's a lot of travel time when you could have just stayed here the whole time. No, so much travel time. I know you're worried about fall off, but it's enough. Okay, so no, you hold on. What are you doing?
10 seconds.
Maybe this hog should be paying attention to you, but he's not. So what are you worried about? The Hanzo? The Hanzo's eliminated. Like, the Ana? Who cares? Like, you can close the angle a little bit more, so you just shoot at the hog then, if you're worried about the Ana. Why would you actually leave? The hog's not paying attention to you. Go right back out there. Go right back out there. Reload and go right back. No.
I need a doctor.
You don't want to go here. This is more in line with your team. You want to go back here and potentially high noon and just be like, I'm going to blow you guys up from this angle while my team threatens you from this angle. Stop making your angles worse. You can't. The box is right there. You can't wait for the cart to push out here and then hit a high noon from behind. So much travel time wasted here. That's fine. But that's what you should have done, like, been planning for the whole time. Why did you roll sideways rather than at him? Just because you were predicting that you were thinking he'd predict the roll at him? Like, I don't want to take an extended fight with Hanzo. I want to flash and eliminate him, but okay. That's bad. You can't afford to go down here. You need to, like... Okay, fine. Good. And you win. Baby Diva still counts.
Need healing.
It's a pretty long-range fan. Like, I get that you're trying to barrier break, but that's a long-range fan.
Team up for special attack.
Ouch. Okay.
Back into the mix.
Okay. You're a hit scan player. Things that you need to understand. Let's do it like this. Cover is pretty good, and so are angles. And if you take angles, the angles you take should have cover. This is not 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 cover. This has cover. This has cover. This has cover. This has optional cover. This has optional cover. This cover's pretty good when your backline can see you. This cover is less good when your backline can't see you, pushing out when you don't know exactly how many people are out here from having tracked the respawns is bad. So, most important thing for you to be aware of is not just when you have 50 health have cover, all the time you should have cover. You should have cover, or you should be rotating to a new place because you want to threaten them from a new place that'll have cover. You're not going here to do it. You're not just wide peeking to do stuff. You might at a point end up here, but it's because you're rotating from here to here, and you're going through here to get here. And it doesn't have to be a completely straight line. It can include some zigzags, some, hey, let's make the movement a little bit harder type thing so that you don't get shot. A little bit of evasive movement is fine, but we're not long-term hanging out here. Our plan is to have cover that we're acting from. And then, once we get good, we understand, oh, the thing that actually unlocks a first point for us, and you sort of got this, but it took you too long, you weren't consistent enough with it, is the angle. Oh, the thing that enforces first point for us is the angle. Oh, the better use of the Torb turret isn't just more damage from the same direction, it's the angle, that they can't deal with it until after it's pushed in. So angles. It's okay if you're stacked with your team, if your Hanzo's over here. It could be even better for you to have 3 different angles. Depends on the spot on the map. But your team has to have at least a second angle for it to work. In Overwatch, the team with more and bigger angles tends to be the team that wins. It's fundamental and it's really important. And your McCree, especially for the first half of this match, was just way too willing to stand with team and just be like, plink, 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 and just be like, hey, I'm doing damage from the team. And that's not good enough. Uptime is good. Uptime is good, don't get me wrong. Especially uptime during the actual fight is good. But if you can invest time to get a bigger payoff, so even if the fight is happening, if I invest the time to walk over here, that's a pretty short flank, and it's going to give me a nice payoff. On the other hand, if the fight is happening right here, right now, it probably doesn't make sense for me to go do this rotation to get an angle. That takes too long. But if I'm waiting on my team to get back, maybe it does make more sense for me to do this long rotation and then wait and then open the angle once my team has opened the angle. So really, I want you to think about, can I do a better job of getting these angles? Because that is going to be very, very important. And Also, if you understand these angles, I'd cover too many things if I got into your high noon. Do I want to talk about your high noons, or do I want to talk about your obsession with Hog? I want to talk about your obsession with Hog. Okay, so that's important. Those are two important things that I want you to work on. The third thing that I want you to work on is, I don't know if this was an ego duel thing that lasted for a while with Hog, or if this was a Hog is an easy target to hit, so I'm going to shoot at him. He's not your optimal target. Yeah, you can hit headshots on him. That's fantastic. When he's there, when he's the target that's available, sure, absolutely take shots at him. If he's got a super aggressive angle and you need to shoot him to make him leave, no problem. But damage pressure on Ana is a lot more effective. Damage pressure on Soldier, on Tracer, is a lot more effective because they have smaller health pools, and even if you miss a couple extra shots in general on them because they're smaller, you do such a higher percentage of their health per shot, you drive them back so much faster that you make them play more passive. And if you make them play more passive, the whole push sort of fizzles a bit. They can't support Hog as well. So, yes, you can shoot at Hog when he's what's available. Yes, your eyes need to pay some attention to Hog so that if he looks at you, you're ready to close the angle so that you don't get hooked. But you focused on him way too hard for the first, again, like half of the match when there were better targets available. And again, I don't know if that was like an ego thing, if he hooked me a couple times, so I gotta punish him for that, or if that was just a he's easy and I want to shoot at the easy target. No, shooting at the easy target isn't good enough. You gotta shoot. Don't need to give yourself like crazy difficult shots. Take the shots that are there, but there are shots that are there on the Ana, the Tracer, the Soldier, and a little bit of damage pressure on them makes Tracer's staging way harder, which means the aggression never actually happens or gets delayed significantly. Makes Ana's ability to stay in the fight much harder, which means she can't sustain people as they're trying to push in, rotate, etc. She doesn't have her big cooldowns like Nade because she uses them on herself. Those sort of things. Like that absolutely matters. So it's a target selection thing. So I want you to work through each of these one thing at a time. Hey, I got to think about, do I have cover? Hey, I've really got to think about these angles. Does it make sense to invest time to go get an angle right now? Do we as a team have control of a second angle right now? At least could I go get a third angle? And then target selection. Am I just shooting at the tanks because they're there? It's okay to shoot at tanks because they're there. It's not like, oh, in every situation you have to shoot at people that aren't tanks. But especially if people take different angles than their tanks and they're more vulnerable or more aggressive, you absolutely want to do damage. And yes, it's a bigger percentage of their health if you put a little damage into a squishy. This is a less good target, but it can make sense if he gets hyper aggressive. Makes sense. All that stuff. Yes. Do these things one at a time with like 5 to 15% of your brain power. Try to work on them and focus on it for, I don't know, somewhere between like 5 and 50 games. It's going to depend how long it takes you to work into your autopilot each of these things that you're working on. Once it's worked into your autopilot, and that means even when you stop thinking about it, when you think about other things, you still continue to do it reliably, that's when you move on to the next thing. And what we're doing is we're trying to stack good habits into your autopilot to free up brain processing power to think about tactics, to change the mind on the 1 in 10 times when this isn't the right thing to do and you need to do it a different way. That's what we're doing. We're trying to stack a bunch of good habits. That's how you actually get good at Overwatch. That's the key. So do all this. If you have any questions, you guys can throw them up in chat now. If you're enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all of that good stuff. I was thinking Hog 2. I think like Temporal now, maybe. Hope so. Can this Greek come and play in your cold game so you can damage boost him? The key to breaking first point is to feed, make the enemy feel cocky and use ults, and then make them overextend with 30 seconds left where you can punish them and snowball the rest of the match. No, it's not in Heartstorm. I'd gladly damage boost this McCree in mid-plat. Fair. You're still impressed that he's actually shooting plating Genjis. Okay. Not enough off angling. Like I'm telling you guys that it's the off angling that is locking this in gold. Like it picked up for the second half some, but the lack of off angling, and not completely for the second half because you saw that defense there, but it's going to hold them back. The McCree isn't going to create enough openings for the team. They're not going to solve enough problems for the team, and that's why this is gold. I'm not saying it can't brute force its way into plat, but that's what we're looking at here. I doubt it. You might like his aim, YS there. You might like his aim. You might like that he makes good decisions, like shooting at Genjis, things like that. But with how much he pushed ahead of his tanks, which wasn't something I covered a ton because I mostly am trying to not have to cover it by getting him to use cover instead. With how much he pushed ahead of his tanks, sometimes into dangerous situations, like we saw into Castle on third, and with the number of times he didn't take off angles when they were relevant, he's potentially losing some team fights like this, and he's not winning some team fights by not doing this. So like even though his aim is fine, he's got good uptime, he's doing some of the right things trying to shut down blades, etc. Like you might notice he's doing some things that your players don't, but you do have to think about it in terms of what actually, again, it's what leads to swinging team fights, because team fights being swung is what actually wins and loses matches. And I'm not saying these other things don't swing team fights, sometimes they do, but shooting at a Genji, well, that causes you to shut the Genji down one time in 5, one time in 4, one time in 3, whatever. That doesn't help as much as actually consistently unlocking first point more quickly so you get through it in one push instead of 3 or 4. Yeah, I'm with you, Crunch. YouTube is showing me an ad that says I don't get to pick. I don't get to pick what ads air Nordstorm. That's unfortunately part of the deal with them. But whatever. It's they can show what ads they want. It's really fine with me, whatever they do. Okay, was there anything else interesting in chat? If you guys have more questions, you can throw them in now. I think early on I maybe missed some interesting chats. E Reinhardt Marketplace, Hook Molten Core, Sigma's gonna ult and it'll happen again. Oh yeah, that. Oh no, we covered most of it. Okay, I think that's going to cover it. And Marius is getting ads, interesting ads as well. Okay. My experience of Gold Crees is they play to get high noon and then spend the rest of the match flanking and try to go for a 5 to 6 minute high noon. Okay. I don't know that I see that often, but sure. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. I will see you guys in the next one. Remember, if you're enjoying it, please do like and subscribe. Actually, our like ratio is pretty darn high for our views right now, so looks good. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one. Thanks. Temporal out.